Hi, I'm Mark Sawatka, the General Secretary of PCS, and I'm pleased to report that I have just received the results of our pay consultative ballot that we've been holding over the last few months. I'm really delighted to say that in a historic vote, we have sent the most resounding message to Theresa May and her government. 99% of PCS members who have voted have demanded an above-inflation pay rise, and 80% of you who have voted have said you're prepared to take strike action if the government doesn't listen. I can also tell you that we have achieved a turnout of nearly 49%, which is within touching distance of the government's unfair ballot thresholds and is a record turnout for this union. So now it's time for the government to listen. Philip Hammond is delivering his budget on the 22nd of November. We now need to make sure that he listens to the voice of his own workforce, who have said in the most clearest terms that we want above inflation pay rises and the funding put into the public sector to allow us to have that. So what we want you to do now is two things. Firstly, if you haven't yet, we'd like you to go on our pay calculator so that you can send an individual email to Philip Hammond before his budget to tell him how much pay you've lost and why you deserve an above inflation pay rise. And secondly, if you talk to colleagues in your office who are not members of PCS, urge them to join us to ensure that the 3,000 people we've recruited to the union during this ballot can be added to by many others, making us a stronger union to achieve pay justice. And what we're going to do with this ballot result is this. We're going to urge the government to sit down and talk to us. We're going to urge them to listen to what you've said in their budget. And we're also going to talk to our colleagues in other public sector unions to ensure that if the government don't listen, we can all work together to get justice for all public sector workers in the new year on the question of pay. So our campaign's got off to a brilliant start. Historic high turnout in this ballot, the largest possible yes votes to tell Theresa May and Philip Hammond to do something. Now we'll wait and see what they do in the budget. We'll demand that they meet us, but if we continue to build our union and continue to talk about campaigning together, we can go into the new year confident that if the government don't do something about this pay injustice, we're determined to campaign to make them do that. Thanks very much for voting. Thanks for listening to this message. Let's all work together to get pay justice moving forward.